Good morning. How are we doing today, guys? We are about ready to start another episode of Freeman here. So getting closer and closer day by day to the new patch. Hopefully we're still slated for this weekend, barring any setbacks. But once again, that is an ETA, so estimated time. So there could be a possibility it could be delayed. But I think, kind of thinking it's going to be this weekend. Unless, like I said, there's something barring that, something that bars it back from being released, but I think we're good. Devs have been very active on Steam, which is pretty cool. Answering a lot of questions. There's a lot of good ideas that I see from some people. So, but there's probably so many ideas out there that everyone's got that it's hard to implement all of them. So there's probably a bunch of good ideas that probably won't get implemented, but if your idea, doesn't get implemented, it's just because there's so many good ones out there, and they're just trying to figure out which ones kind of match the scope of the game, I guess, and what they want to do. I was thinking last night I had another one too. Let me see if there's anything to sell here. Let's see. I guess I can get rid of this AKM. I'm not going to use it, because I already have one. Let's see. We're approaching 100K. That AR might be kind of cool to mess around with. Has good damage, good muzzle velocity. The AKM is, you can see the bullets kind of dropping, but it's a very manageable gun, and it's a really good gun actually. AK-74M is about the same thing. I don't know if that's intentional, but this used to be a little bit stronger. These now have identical stats. The Katov, I've used that in the very first series. That was a good gun as well, so. Okay. I'm kind of curious to try something out here. A shotgun. So, I've never tried it. Never in any of the playthroughs. So I don't know how good it is. It's horrible. I can't imagine it being too great, but it's probably time to give it a shot, and if it sucks, we can just sell it. So we have enough money to try out some other things. I think it'll be... I think once we get into the... If they do have like a couple... Say they have a couple of these towns that are really big, maybe like the capital cities of the factions, and you're fighting in the capital city, and it's a little bit bigger than some of these towns, and you have some urban combat, the shotgun would definitely be a little bit more viable because you're a little bit more close quarters. I always think it would be cool to have missions too. Excuse me one sec. Missions that would put you in a scene. So instead of the battlefield or a siege battle, you know how those are the kind of the two different ones that we have right now. Maybe there's a mission to go steal some, documents or something, and you can either use stealth to get through, and you have to go through, it's an interior scene. You don't really see outside, and you have to get up, up the stairs, dodge some cameras, steal some documents, and maybe you have like just your companion with you or something. It's just a small team, and get out of there without being caught, or you can just blast your way with the shotgun and kill everyone. But maybe you have, you take a, because then they know who it is if you, if you're loud, and maybe you take like a hit in your what is that called, your gosh, what is it? Your relationship. I don't know, just something like that. So maybe like a mission where the shotgun would be totally viable in a town. maybe, yeah, maybe you have to do something or rescue a prisoner that's in this building getting interrogated. I don't know, or steal some documents. Um, Another idea that I had too is, so vehicles, I don't know, it would be pretty hard to implement them in battle, as much as a lot of you guys I think want vehicles in battle. I just don't see how that would work. I mean, you roll around and run people over. I don't know, maybe you have a guy like Halo that's shooting out of the turret on the back of like a Toyota pickup. I don't know how that would work. I think the way that they're doing it where it's on the world map works for sure. But we're just going to test out the shotgun real quick while I'm talking. But I think if you had like a static, so say you go in here and say you had like trade caravans, right? Or trading in like they're basically like, it's like an economy. It kind of like they're trading to maybe deliver weapons from one town to another. So say the bandits are having a weapons shipment and you see their little caravan, it's like a couple trucks or whatever, and maybe an armored vehicle. So say you want to get those weapons, you know, intercept those weapons, you know, attack them like normal, right? And on the map, this is very dark so it's hard to see, but say there's like a static truck, a truck that just sits here, and you got to take it out with your army. So it just kind of sits here. Maybe there's a couple different of like a couple vans, and then the truck that holds all the weapons that you're trying to take, and maybe there's a guy with a mounted machine gun. But these vehicles do not move; they're static. They just sit here for the battlefield, and maybe just the only thing, the gunner on the machine gun can move, and you got to like snipe him and take him out, and then fight your way to the caravan and then kill them all, and then once you kill them all, you get all their stuff. So they could do something like that with vehicles that I think makes perfect sense, and it would be easier to do because they're static. They're not moving around the battlefield and taking resources up, and planning the AI for that would be absolutely ridiculous for AI vehicles running around. I think that would be a lot to ask for, but I think having them static just on the main map, and then when you attack like I said, a weapons trade route or something where they're trying to get weapons from one town to another, and then it's static like right here, and you go in and attack, and you have one big threat like maybe a machine gunner or two that are on the back of like a Toyota. We call it a Toyota Tacoma in the United States, but I think around the world it's a Toyota Hilux. I could see like two white Toyota Hiluxes with a mounted machine gun in the bed. I think that would be pretty cool. And then you got your weapons, and then you got to snipe them. Otherwise, they're just going to destroy you if you try to charge them. And then you take you could take over that shipment. So I think that would be kind of cool. If they added stuff a little bit like that. So that's another idea that I had. But it doesn't involve, vehicles rolling around the map in terms of combat. So let me know what you guys think of that. I think that could be a good idea for a mission, or a mission where you infiltrate and maybe use a little stealth. Just as much variety as you can give players to mix it up, and choice. Having someone choose between stealth and just full out, I think that adds a lot of playability. Like the whole idea, I think, is for the devs is they want people to play the game as much as possible, and it's really playable. It's better than a lot of games in its current state, believe it or not. I mean, I love this game. It's fun right now. I'm having a blast with it right now. Let me fix the scope before I go too far. But it's a good game, and it has so much potential. And then I like my other idea too, another mini game that they could add. So they're adding blackjack, which is awesome. I think, like I said, that if you don't want to play it, then you have the choice, right, to play it or not play it. Let me equip the shotgun real quick too. Let's try the shotgun out. What do you guys think about this? Okay. Oh yeah. Alright, let's make sure our guys don't go too far, because I want to keep them at range, and then I want to swing around the flank I think that's the only way it's going to work with the shotgun. We're only going against 15. But so my other idea is, I've been talking about being able to walk around your towns and walk up to like an empty, you know, say there's when you take over a town, it's got weeds and it's just, you know, you've just liberated a, you know, a town from the bandits, so it's in really bad shape, and you know, it just looks aged and nasty. I think you can walk up to certain buildings and upgrade them with cash and resources like wood and some of the resources that they already have in the game. Say you walk out to, you know, open field that's just filled with weeds, and you have a little thing, and this is all, you know, walking around your town. And you press like E on your keyboard or F or whatever you want it, and it opens up a little screen, and you can upgrade like 3 different tiers of that. This, in terms of like, so say you want a shooting range, right? And that could be another mini game where you can train your people. So it builds like a shooting range, and you have a companion that has like maybe infrastructure skill, and it depends on it's running. That's what the range is on this. Range is not so good. All right, I'm gonna get shot. We got 1 kill with the shotgun. Remember, our proficiency is pretty horrible, so the proficiency, I think, increases the accuracy and the damage. So keep that in mind, that our shotgun proficiency is absolutely horrible. I need to have some guys for these guys to play with. I want to go right up the middle. I want them turned to either side. Yeah, I want to book it over here. If I die, I die. Let's see if we can get another shotgun kill. So it's a little hard. It's like the melee weapons are a little bit hard. You almost have to sneak up on them, I think, to no, reload. Ah. So shotgun right now, not super powerful. I don't think it's worth. Even if we got the proficiency up, I mean, you have to get pretty close and it's multiple shots. We can mess around with it a little bit more, but not as good as the rifle, that's for sure. Let me see, what did we get our proficiency up to? Let's see, shotgun 1 out of 200. So, I mean, we could level that up a little bit. I could play around with that. I'll keep the shotgun for a little bit. But we're going to have to keep those guys busy and kind of flank them. I think the shotgun's going to work really well with constitution and agility. High health, so you want to be really tanky, you want to wear this gear, and you want tons of agility so you can sprint up to them and have the camouflage. So I think it could be viable. For sure. For sure. It just needs... We can test that out when we get more agility. I think that'll make a big difference. Okay, do we have another AKM? Wow. Oh, that's my AKM. I don't want to get rid of that. I don't want to get rid of my AKM. I love that gun. Okay. Let's call that a deal. I think the other thing, so yeah, so that's my vehicle strategy. I think I told you about that. And then, yeah, walking around towns and being able to upgrade and play mini games like the shooting range. Maybe that's a way you train your troops early game. Similar to the training ranges in Mount & Blade. I think that could be pretty cool. So yeah, you could upgrade the buildings, and you see the visual upgrades. I think that adds to the immersion and gives you more options the more that you upgrade them. So maybe there's stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3, and it gives you a money sink from when you've got a couple towns and you're at 100K and you don't really have much money to spend it on, because spending it on troop wages and stuff like that's boring. You want upgrades, right? Like, upgrade your town. You want to feel connected to the towns that you own, and I feel like this game's about liberating from the bandits and the Brotherhood, or the terrorists, and making the people better. So if they can get the little bit of that feeling into the game, I think that kind of fits in with what they're trying to do. I could be totally wrong, but I think that would be a nice thing. Oops, where did I click on the same thing? I need to get rid of that too. You guys will have to tell me what you think. Tell me if I'm totally crazy or not. But there's a couple different things that they could add. Missions and stuff like that. And different scenes. So instead of, the open field, and then maybe you have a city scene, and then maybe you would do a mission and it's just in a building. So different ways, that they could play around with that I don't think would be too hard, and they fit in the scope of the game. So I'm sure the devs have got so many ideas they don't know. They're probably a little overwhelmed because there are a lot of really good ideas on the Steam forums. You guys have come up with a lot of good stuff, so I think that would be cool to mix it up. I had a couple other ideas too, but I think those are my main ones. Walking around and upgrading the towns that way. Definitely keeping the screen, because Mountain Blade gave you options, right? So you had this screen, and then you could go like walk around town, and then it would load up and you could walk around town. And I think that would be a good way to upgrade and see your visual upgrades that you have here. So, but we'll see what they do. I'm sure they've got an idea already of what they want to do. But I think that would just add to the game. So now we're kind of, if we take a look at the info tab, the bandits totally gone. And the Brotherhood, they don't own any territories. They're not totally gone from the map. But they don't own any territories. So they're pretty much wiped out. Now, if they might attack our town still, but seems like the amount of attacks that we've got. Sorry, I had to look at my phone there. But yeah, the amount of attacks that we've got have pretty much been reduced, which is good, because I didn't really want to micromanage all that. Have our towns be constantly attacked while we're trying to go to war with a bigger group like the Pozna. That's gonna be pretty crazy here. So let's take a look and see who's the next weakest. They own only one town, Lubnai, and they have two kind of like a factory and a mine. So they own 3 territories, but they only own 1 town. So that could be a possibility. Now these guys own, or that's me, I own 4 towns. These guys are going to be the tough ones. They own a lot. So we'll probably save them for last, I think. And then the Tove, they only own 2 towns. So we could take them, actually, because they don't own any resource. Lack of artillery support and close combat units. So we have strength in kind of long range. So these guys might be next. So the Tove Revolution Forces, I might try to go at war and take those 2 towns. That would put us up to 6 towns. And then I think we go Pozna next after that. So let's get some sharpshooters. We need to get these guys, and we're going to hire all of them. Okay. Let's take a look at our party. So we got 7 of them there. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We have a bunch of snipers here, too. We have 5 snipers. And then these guys, I'm going to upgrade those guys to all snipers so we can get some range. And I think that'll be pretty fun. Oh, we owe our guys salaries, so let's pay them. And alright, let's get into another battle. But what do you guys think about that? Those couple ideas. I also saw one for a commander mode that looked pretty cool, but the devs kind of confirmed that that probably wouldn't be in the game. I mean, you can kind of command right now and not move your guy, I suppose, a little bit. So it's kind of in the game, but they could, you know, improve on it a little bit. But we'll see what they do. I'm sure they've got this all planned out. All right, so we're going to attack... Is it the ARF? I almost want some ARF guys just in case, too. Let me check again. Yeah, it's these guys. So, Zinkov and Litvin. There's Zinkov. Where's Litvin? Let's do a little scouting first. So we can attack 65. That's going to be tough. They have a ton of troops. We might attack them on the next episode. But I want to work these sharpshooters up because we're going to have to pick them off from afar. You want to read the strategies. It kind of tells you what you kind of need to do. Oh, our food is finished. Let's get food. I was wandering around the map too much. Get you guys some steaks. There you go. Let's get some bread and some fish as well. Get a little bit more steak. And alright. Call that a deal. Perfect. And alright. Let's go attack some bandits. See if we can get some more shotgun kills. I haven't given up on that quite yet. Let's save the game. Let's check our... I'm going to have to pay these guys since I let their food run out. But I didn't have their food run out for very long. So you can see it drops quite a bit actually. But we have so much money, it's like ridiculous. But I mean, you should, I guess, with this much time invested into the game, you should probably have a ton of money, right? This playthrough, what are we up to? Episode 22, 23, somewhere around there. That's about 11. The first episode, I always go a little bit longer. Let's just call it like 12 hours. I have 12 hours into this playthrough, so that's pretty decent. And we probably have another 12 hours because the hard part is coming, so taking those harder factions, they're going to be quite a bit harder than anything else that we've faced so far. And I'm a little bit worried about it. So I want to be prepared when we take these guys out with some snipers, some long range units, because they're not good at range. So and then we'll change out, you know, to fit the other 2 factions that we're going to take. But I need to get my guy about as high as you can get him. And the sharpshooters are just going to hang out pretty close. Oh, I forgot to name these guys. Okay, so these guys are going to hang out pretty close too, because they're going to get dropped. Okay. You guys will have to let me know what you think on that. I think there's so many good ideas out there. It's just hard to implement everything. But I think the town stuff, walking around town, I think that's pretty high priority, at least for me. I don't know about what the devs think, but and the upgrade system to spend all your, you know, your late game cash, and then the mini game that you could also add, having upgrading a sharpshooter, or not a sharpshooter, but a kind of a shooting range, and having a couple different tiers of that in your town, and then you can, you know, play that little mini game with your guns and try them out and see how they shoot. You know, really long range ones and short range ones for pistols. Yeah, being able to upgrade that I think that would be pretty cool. And then just the different mission variety. And having, you know, a mission on the map where it's, there's static vehicles that aren't moving, and you have to pick them all off and maybe, you know, break up this gun transportation. Like they're transporting guns to the front lines of another town that they're, you know, closer to the action or war. And you have to stop that. And when you stop that, you get rewarded pretty heavily, and maybe it's a little bit harder of a mission. But yeah, having that little breakup. So, but the vehicles I think are pretty cool that they're adding right now. So the vans, hopefully they add other things in the vans too, like the transports, not the Hummers, they use like this other thing that's kind of like a more badass Hummer. Troop transports. A lot of potential, but I mean, I think the vans is a good step in the right direction, honestly. I think that's pretty cool to have something like a, you know, Mountain Blade's horse system. So I think they're on the you know, go in the right direction with that. I think that's pretty neat. But like I said, I think having vehicles in the battlefield moving around on both sides would be really tough AI standpoint. And it would get to the point where you're always fighting vehicle battles and you're not doing, you know, the first person. So they could add vehicles but make them static, you know, like you're trying to stop a trade route. Then it makes a little bit more sense. Now, where are these guys hiding? I feel like we're on the edge of the map. I'm way over here. So this is what happens when you ramble on. You lose track of what you're doing. I have a hard time talking and playing when it's something that I have to think about a little bit. Now when I'm, you know, commentating and saying, hey, I'm gonna move these guys over here or do that, that's easy to do. But when you're trying to share like ideas and play the game, I always kind of get derailed, so I apologize for that. And we haven't seen anyone. 49 people. I would think that we would have ran into some troops by now. I'm gonna go over one of these hills and literally get dropped because there's gonna be so many of them. I feel like they're gonna be pretty close. I'm gonna hop over this hill and see if I can spot a couple of them. And with the suppressor, should be okay. And we'll level up the shotgun a little bit and see how viable it actually is. Right now, I kind of have a feeling like it's not. Oh, they're way. I haven't seen them on this side of the map in a long time. Where's Joker? Joker is over here. Okay, that's fine. We want the sniper team to be pretty far away, because the snipers do get dropped really quickly, but they can do some havoc at range. They're really good. Alright, let's see if we can use the shotgun here. We'll use the shotgun probably when we get them all somewhat down. I feel like they should be